Hi, I'm Chris, and this particular robot vacuum brand here, Shellbot, is new to me, and their model here, which is the SL60. So this is a two-in-one robot vacuum. It's got vacuuming and then the mopping part to it as well, and it can do both at the same time. However, it is a more advanced robot vacuum because it does have the LiDAR, the laser mapping on the top of it to give us accurate maps and very fast and efficient cleaning, but also a camera and sensors at the front of it to detect common household objects. For example, shoes, socks, USB cables, it can detect them and go around them. So it's using AI obstacle avoidance. Now the suction performance of this model here, the SL60, is up to 4000 PA. It does have a runtime up to 200 minutes. That of course is using the lowest setting with the lowest suction performance. And the battery capacity is 5,200 milliamp hours. So this is what we get in the box. You'll find our mop here with a microfiber cloth that you can easily take off to wash. We get a spare microfiber cloth. We do have a remote. Now most models don't have the remote, but you can use this instead of having to log into the app to control it. You can also use it to manually control it. We do get two side sweeper brushes. The vacuum itself, the SL60 only uses one, but we do have a spare, which is good. Our instruction manual, and then our power supply and the charger. So it does come with two dustbins. This one is in the vacuum when you do get it. So this is the combination one. So we've got our dustbin and then a 260 milliliter water tank. So that's for the mopping, the two-in-one mode. So if you don't plan to mop the floors, this is the dustbin to use because it has a much larger capacity. This one's 500 milliliters. Now you can easily get to that washable filter that you'll find right here. So it's just a single stage filter. There is no plastic mesh that is in front of it that we do see with some other models. And it's very easy to pull it in and out. And then to empty the dustbin, that is quite easy too as well. So you just simply need to pull on this little tab and then that opens right up, and you're able to then shake out the contents of this dustbin. Now the little remote that is included is quite handy to have. Now, as I mentioned, that most brands don't have this, but it's quite easy then to manually control it. So we do have our scheduled controls here. We've got our directional controls, start and stop. You can adjust the suction performance to go home and then adjust the mop wetness. So there's three different levels for that. Now just very quickly demonstrate it. And I can move forward, for example, on this, or left and right and control the vacuum. So you'll hear it work. So there it is in the background. So I can easily turn this around, get it to go forwards or backwards, or to start the clean. So that's why it is actually quite handy. And I wish more brands would include these little remotes. We have our two wheels here, so they are suspended, and the main brush here is also a floating main brush, which is what you want in these type of vacuums. Always look for that because it will adjust to the different levels in floors and in carpets. So maintenance-wise, very easy to pull out that main brush and to clean it, which you will have to do, of course, and eventually you need to replace these brushes because they are consumable. They do wear out, just like the side brush too, which is very easy to remove. Charging contact points here, 360-degree wheel that you can remove. Now this vacuum can handle climbs of up to 2 centimeters with the different levels and say a different carpet. Now the runtime of this is up to 200 minutes. That's on the lowest suction setting, of course. With that, like other vacuums, it does have all these sensors on the underside to make sure it's not going to fall down a stairwell, for example. And attaching the mop, it is very simple. So you just need to line it up with this slot right here, and you will then hear it click into place. The SL60 does use LiDAR navigation, so this is laser distance mapping, so it will map out everything efficiently and very quickly. And then up the front here, we do have a set of more sensors and some cameras. So using this, it does have AI obstacle avoidance to go around and avoid common household objects like shoes and socks. And I will be testing that out later on in this video. The SL60 does not have a lid that you lift up on the top like other brands to remove the dustbin or the two-in-one dustbin and water tank. It's just simply here. There's a little tab here in blue. You pull on that and then the whole dustbin and water tank compartment slots out like so. On the right-hand side, that is where you will find the side sweeper, so that gets right into the edges and sweeps things into the main brush, and there is rubber around the outside here for a sensor. So when it does bump into anything, it will detect that and then end up going back and around things. On the top, there's the power button and then our home button. If you need to do more with the vacuum for controls, use the remote or the application. The application for the SL60 is called Shellbot. So once you log into it, you do need to add the robot vacuum. You'll see it then. Once it is added, you need to register, create an account, and pair it up with your Wi-Fi 2.4 gigahertz band in order to then get it all set up. It does not run off the 5 gigahertz band, which is Wi-Fi AC. Not at all. So you need to just get that all done. Once you've done it, you can then log in and you've done the first map. It will then automatically label all your rooms here. So you've got controls down here to start cleaning, the type of cleaning you want to do, selecting rooms, zoning, the last cleaning time, battery life at the top here. And pressing this, you can find out where the robot vacuum is. It's actually handy. If you happen to lose it, it gets stuck somewhere. It might be under one of the beds, but you don't know where. You simply press that and you'll hear in the background, hopefully,
I'm here.
It just told me I'm here, so you can locate where it is. Now you've got different maps that you can save, up to 3 different levels here, and then you can go along and edit maps. For example, you can edit zones, areas, or set up a no-go zone. You can put the virtual wall in, for example. I don't want it going into bedroom number 2, or I don't want it going to a certain area. Then you can adjust and set that up and save it, which is quite good. You can, of course, just do the room cleans. So if you don't want room 2 to be cleaned, you can go and select all the other rooms, and you can select the order you want to do that. So it's pretty straightforward there and quite clear on how to use it. Other settings, which I won't go into because they're all straightforward. You've got cleanup records, you've got schedules that you can set up, do not disturb, the mop mode, you can set the different mop water levels, the vacuuming mode, carpet mode, auto detect too as well, it does have that, voice settings, and you do have firmware updates, which I am on the latest firmware at the time of this review. As I mentioned at the start, it does have the laser mapping, LiDAR, the cameras, and 3D light structures, that how it forms and detects things. So the mapping on it is excellent. It's very quick. You can actually put it into a map mode. It'll go into the rooms and will automatically go and label all of those rooms like I showed you when we looked at the application. So that process is quick. Then it proceeds to go around all the outer edges, pretty much like any other LiDAR robot vacuum. And it's quick in doing so. And then it zigzags back and forth, cleaning the floor. So it's very efficient in doing so, and it doesn't leave any gaps. So I found with the hard floors, especially, that very good. The clean, not a problem. Really great with that. Now carpets, I've got a mat that's about 1.5 centimeters tall. Now this can clean up to 2 centimeters, and I was happy to see that the SL60 did not have a problem getting up this mat. Other more expensive robot vacuums that I've tested out, for example, like Dbot's X1 Turbo, had a few issues with this mat going around in circles on top of it. Didn't happen at all with this. Now my carpet test was to lay down some excessive dirt. So that's cat fur, hair, dust, dirt, cornflakes, all on top there. Not a normal kind of dirtiness that you would find in a house. Now it did quite a good job. So the first pass going over everything, didn't get it all. A second pass did a much better job. But in between the imperfections in this map, well, the different levels of the map, and why I actually like to use it as a test map for these robot vacuums, it did leave a little bit there. Now that is very common. Most of the robot vacuums will leave a tiny bit of dirt in between those different layers. It's very difficult for them to get right in there. You basically have to use a normal vacuum and the end of the hose to clean that really good. So no surprises there. That it actually did a good job. So it does well on carpets and mats, hard floors. The mopping with it then, so dragging around a microfiber cloth. It's not advanced in that area, so it's not an oscillating mop that we see on others, not one that has the circular orbital scrubbing mops. No, it's applying a bit of pressure, yes, pulling along that cloth, and it actually does a bit better than you would think because the way it's textured, the cloth there. So my test, again, was not real kind of world stuff here. Very dirty floor. I put down some dirt, smeared it in, let it dry. There were some very stubborn stains that were actually spilt coffee and a little bit of milk with it too, that had been there for a day. I intentionally left it, didn't get that. But the first pass did a very good job of cleaning all of that dirt. Second pass looks pretty good. Those little tiny black dots you can see are actually little chips in the tile. So the mopping performance, it's good. It's going to maintain the floors looking a lot better before you go around and do your, say, weekly or fortnightly manual mop. Now, obstacle avoidance. It's got that advanced system in there. And this is where it did surprise me, again, performing better than a vacuum that costs twice the price of the SL60. And that is, again, the Dbot X1 Turbo. The obstacle avoidance on this was pretty good. So it went around the shoe, the sock. It would sometimes touch it. and the power supply with the attached USB cable, not really that much of an issue, and it did a good job to detect those items. It surpassed that of more expensive models, so quite surprised there with the performance. So overall, I think for what it is selling for, you are gaining some of the features that, yes, models that cost twice the price have, apart from when it comes to the mopping. So the mopping I wouldn't say is its greatest strength, but it's okay. Very good at hard floors, very efficient in its clean, and very good with its obstacle avoidance. But it can't be all perfect, right? There are a couple of things. So one of them is that the dustbin, the combo one here that I have, so that's the water tank with 260 milliliters, and then you get a reduced capacity, of course, with having both in one here. It doesn't have a little flap on this side here where the dustbin is, where it sucks everything in and then stores it. Whereas the larger one, if you're just going to be doing normal cleans and not mopping, definitely want to use this one. It has a little plastic flap that when you pull it out and you pick it up, it doesn't have all the dirt spill out everywhere. But this, it can happen if you're not careful with the dustbin because there's no plastic flap. It's a very minor con from me, and people will probably say, hey, you're nitpicking. You have to be careful when you pull it out to keep it level, because if you accidentally just angle it down a little bit, the dirt comes out. And that's what I accidentally did. And so that's just one area of complaint. The other is at its 4000 PA, it's a little loud. It's definitely not the quietest. So that's when you can get it to detect when it goes on top of mats and carpets, increase the suction performance. Here is a sample of it in action at the full 4000 PA. And that is it. So it's just two little things there. The noise, that's kind of normal. Other robot vacuums are just the same when they're at 4,000 or some of them with 5,000 PA. So overall, does a very good job. And what has surprised me, as I've mentioned, is the fact that its obstacle avoidance is better than the more expensive models. So thanks a lot for watching my review of Shellbot's SL60.